Hey, Keith here for Am I Rich? And today we have another stock coming down the pipeline, which is TransCanada. They used to be called TransCanada Pipeline. They are currently called TransCanada Corporation, and they plan to change their name to TC Energy. The ticker symbol is, and will stay at least for the time being, as TRP. They're a Canadian-based company, and as the old name suggests, they are involved in pipelines, distribution of LNG, and also they are in the power generation business. That's a more recent kind of thing. So the company's stock is currently sitting at $56.36, and they just announced earnings. So that gives it a price to earnings ratio of 14.6, which is pretty reasonable, a little bit cheap probably. Then it also has a forward PE ratio of maybe 14.2, so low, but maybe not significantly different. That might change as well because they beat their earnings expectations, and so when you beat your earnings expectations, then people sometimes revise what their earnings estimates are. The price to book ratio is about 1.7, maybe a little bit lower, which is pretty fair value for the book value. And the big highlight of this stock is its dividend. It is at 5.3%. So yeah, it's hard to beat that with like a bank account or something. So something to definitely think about this stock. And its 5-year growth rate has been about 7.3%. So that's kind of below the average of the market, but still chugging along. So what's going on with this company? So like I mentioned, they're involved in pipelines and energy generation. And they have a whole bunch of projects they want to kind of fund in the future. So they do have some kind of a growth strategy, and since they planned that, they wanted to like make their balance sheets a little bit better. So they've been divesting in certain I think a power generation plant in Arizona, and they are trying to sell their at least a major stake in the Coastal Gas Link, which connects Alberta and British Columbia with an LNG gas pipeline going to a future export terminal for LNG that I think Shell is working on, and that'll that's supposed to increase the price of the product that is being sold from Alberta, at least, because they'll have a wider market to go to. Right now, a lot of the oil from Alberta goes to the United States, and so they kind of selling it at quite a discount from the global market price. But what else is this company doing? This company is also involved in the Keystone XL project, which is a big pipeline that goes all the way from Alberta, Canada, down to Texas in the United States. I believe, I think it's Texas or Baton Rouge. Anyways, it goes down to the southern part of the United States, and it is a very controversial pipeline. So it's been held up ever since Obama was in power. It's been held up basically from being approved, and so that is probably one reason why their growth rate is a little bit slower than the market average. They are expecting to have a new environmental review on that project soon this year, and so they've had portions of it approved, and it'll be interesting to see, I guess, if the whole project gets approved, because that's obviously a major focus of TransCanada's. Another thing that but it's with controversy. I mean, this pipeline has been held up for a long time, so. If it does get approved and they can start to really move on this, maybe their growth rate will improve. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. Their growth rate might be a little bit lower than what it really is. And they're also in power generation. They are trying to expand or extend the life of the Bruce nuclear plant, I think, in Ontario. So if they're able to do that, then they get quite a bit of power generation. They're making okay money on that. So they're trying to really focus towards the electrical generation as well. And that's also why they're changing the name to TC Energy, trying to get away from the whole pipeline name, I guess. So the bull case on this stock is their dividend is really good. They publicly state that they're going to increase it by 8 to 10% per year for the next 2 years, which means a very nice dividend return. They have most of their contracts for their pipelines are long-term contracts, so they have fairly stable funding, and they have pretty good cash flow, and they don't have any like major debt concerns. Probably like in 3 years they could pay off their debts if they had to. Plus they have like certain parts that they can divest in assets if they have to, and then invest somewhere else. So I don't really see their debt as a major issue. And so if they do get the Keystone XL pipeline fully operating, that's potentially going to be a big project for them. That's going to move a lot of product. Basically, people are trying to get oil out of Alberta all the time, and if they can get it to refineries in the south of the United States, then that's good news for this company. And then the electrical generation, if they, I think they might be involved in like 30% of Ontario's generation or something like that. I could be mistaken on that, but so basically they could see their revenues increase, and at the very worst case, I think stay stable. So that's really the bull thesis: is this stock price probably stay about stable, and also, or maybe grow, because the whole industry as a whole, like the oil and gas industry, is down because of oil prices. So it wouldn't be surprising if this went up a little bit from where it is just naturally, just to try and rebound the prices. But yeah, that's the bull thesis. Good dividend, probably a very stable dividend, and the stock price might appreciate as well. It'll probably go up, could very likely go up tomorrow, but who knows, depends how people receive that they beat their earnings. And then the bear thesis on this, kind of the negative thesis is, well, they could have, again, issues with approval of their pipelines. They could have more pipeline spills, which is bad news for them, and then they might have to halt some of their transportation in their pipelines. And they might overrun on their costs on improving their nuclear generation or on their pipelines. So those are kind of downsides to the stock. I suppose supply could have a shortfall. It doesn't seem like it's going to in the short term, but unless there's like a government mandated slowdown, I guess, for shipment of oil, it's kind of ambiguous whether that's 100% going to happen. And also, I think they could, they could end up just investing in the wrong projects that aren't as profitable as they think they are. In the past, their management hasn't been able to pick, I think they're going for Keystone XL because they think it's going to be like a great project for them, but they have had so many delays with this project that it's really hurting their company. And if they had kind of come at a different approach, they might have been able to complete this project earlier. So I'm not really sure, if they're going to really grow this company as well as they could. So kind of see a downside of this stock is still somewhat stable, but it could not grow at a very good rate. And then they have dividend reinvestments where they just add more stock to their price. or to their share number of shares. And so I don't know that that always adds value to the company. So I kind of see the downsides as minimal, but like not detrimental to the company's stock price. But also I could see this not, you know, it could go down like 10% or something in the future and just dwindle for a long time. But the dividend, I guess, will be the saving redeemer there. It'll kind of counteract that. So basically, I see for myself, I do have, a long time ago I bought TransCanada, and so I have some stock, but I don't know that I would invest more at this moment. I'll probably hold mine and see where the price goes. If it goes up significantly, or just if I hold it and keep the dividend, that's fine. But as far as the investments, I see that there's better investments out there, so I don't really think this is the one for me. That's just my opinion. I mean, hey, I do think it's underpriced a little bit, and so it has that potential to spring up, and it has a good dividend. So I do see that as very good plus sides for this company. And if they can get their pipelines approved, this company has a fairly decent future as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on TransCanada. And I don't know, just to let me know what you guys think about this. If you think TransCanada is a very scary stock to be in, or if it's a great dividend, feel free to leave comments down in the comment section. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.